Hello everybody! I wanted to record a video on how to read auras because my patrons have voted for that. My name is Roos and I'm going to talk about unlocking the capability of seeing auras because it is naturally stored in our DNA from ancient times where human beings on this planet actually were able to do this and much more. So make sure you watch all the way to the end because I'm going to share 3 really practical tips and sort of secrets to this. But I'm going to start with the biggest one first. This aura seeing, energy seeing unlocks naturally when we go on our spiritual ascension path, when we do our self-healing, when we do our shadow work, when we do our intuitive development, when we do our meditation. Anything and everything that is involved in our spiritual journey, in our spiritual development. So if you're doing already a regular practice of any one of those things that I mentioned, especially the meditation, the spiritual development in any kind of way, if you're doing that already, you're on the right path, because that is actually what will help you unlock these capabilities naturally. So why is that? Well, it happens because our light body, which is sort of the etheric double of our physical body, it's sort of like dormant when we are not spiritually developed, when we have a very closed off kind of life energy. But when we start to awaken, it gathers more and more light, our dreams will become more vivid, and then our awareness grows, and there are basically all kinds of cool things associated with developing the light body more, and one of the things is seeing auras or developing more clairvoyance. Our light body is basically the gateway to all of those etheric memories that are still stored in our DNA to this day, and that then get unlocked in our physical DNA so that our physical body gets up to speed with that. So when we, with our awareness, start to focus more and more spiritually by meditating, doing yoga, doing a spiritual practice of any kind, our light body gathers more and more light, more and more energy, and that then translates into reigniting those gifts that are locked in our DNA, and then through that light it unlocks. It has to sort of vibrate really fast, and the more light we have, the faster we vibrate, and then it unlocks naturally. So that's how it happens, and we access that then through like a natural and automatic process. We don't have to think about that. So I can do it right now, and you can do it as well. Just close your eyes for a little bit. Just focus on the vitality that is present in your body. Just focus on the life, like the life force. And that is your light body. So it's like the internal awareness of your physical body. You can also expand your awareness beyond your body into your aura. You can expand it into the whole universe if you would want to. That's actually a really common meditation where you then come back to your body. So the more you do this, the more the light body gets nourished. It's actually really simple. So keeping your awareness with your light body throughout the day, or checking in with it, going in nature, really charging your light body with the natural frequencies, which also automatically happens as soon as we're open and receiving. These things really naturally build the light body, and then really naturally our capabilities will unlock. So when we, for example, have a block on receiving, we might not be receiving the sunlight into our physical body, into our light body, because we have like fears around anything that if we feel happy that it will be taken away. For example, this could be like a trauma that we had. Then we're not building the light body properly because there's a block there. So that's why healing is really important in the spiritual development journey, because we can't really move beyond that spiritual capacity if we don't clear out the block first, because that will always come in between us and receiving then. So that's why that is really important. So meeting whatever comes up in the present moment, whether that's an emotion or just being present to beautiful nature or receiving love on somebody else or whatever is there, that really helps absorb things into your energy field. And then if you become aware and present of how you are more than just your physical body, and you become aware of your life force, your soul animating your physical body, you actually feed your light body with that energy. So that is how you build it. And then it sort of spills over. I have an article on my website called The Law of Saturation, which talks about this, where if we build more and more light in our light body, it will spill over and it will unlock more psychic gifts, more abundance, everything that we want basically. So all of these things, like I'm just describing the spiritual practice and the healing practice, the self-healing practice, that if you have been on the spiritual journey, you probably relate to, you probably recognize like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing always as well. Like, how does that relate to seeing auras? Like, what video am I even watching, right? That is because it really works that way. So I'll just share my own journey with this. So at some point, 2 summers ago, I looked up and I saw the outline of a tree against the sky, and it started to light up. And I was like, wow, that's so cool, I'm seeing an aura. But I wasn't doing anything for that. It just sort of almost felt like a resistance that I had always carried was just melting away. And I could finally allow in that greater amount of light into my physical eyes, into my brain, into my awareness, which had already always been there before. I just was blocking it out because that's what I am conditioned to do, as we all are. Because energy, auras, don't exist, right? That's how we're conditioned. So I started to experiment with that, and I saw that the energy around the tree is very smooth and even, and like one color, like green or blue or purple or whatever. And then I also started seeing this around people, and that would be a little bit different because there would be blobs and like a big light blob here, but then a sort of a black indentation here, or like there's a lot of light in the crown chakra, like a whole like sort of blob up here. So yeah, if I look at myself now, I can see sort of the white outline around my head. Because I'm a crystal child, my aura is naturally really transparent, whitish. I look at my hand, which is very common exercise, and I looked in between my fingers and I started seeing a really sort of hot, sizzling, vibrant kind of green. Like I heard it as well, clairaudiently, like shh. And I would later learn, because clairvoyance sort of can come with a learning curve where we learn to interpret that. I would later learn that this was because I'm a healer and I use my hands a lot when I heal, and green is the color of the heart chakra. At first I thought my aura was actually green, but then I learned that I'm a crystal, so I can take on any color. But everybody can take on any color. We just have one primary color. And if you want to learn more about that, check out my video on the aura colors. So that was really how it happened for me. Then I started to train it. So I started to ask people sit in front of me so I could see their aura against the white background. I started to do aura readings more and more, and asking for pictures so that I had all the time to like train and see. And yeah, that's basically how it unlocked for me, and I'm still seeing more and more. So some things that also help seeing auras and unlocking that, apart from the spiritual development, healing thing that I just described, where it just naturally unlocks at some point, is sun gazing. So sun gazing really nourishes our third eye and our physical eyes with sunlight. And then because there's more light, we see more. So that's how that helps. So look up more on sun gazing if you want to learn more about that. I just do it in the morning I just sort of blink against the morning sun. Sometimes it's up higher, so I just only like do one blink, and then I open my third eye and I look into the sun with my third eye. And I really let it absorb. Then the second one is doing a physical detox, cleaning out our physical vessel, eating really healthy, because that will make our body lighter, and that will unlock that thing in our physical eyes where our physical eyesight gets clearer and we start seeing more of the light spectrum, including the energy. Yeah, with the physical detox, it's really about decalcifying the pineal gland, which happens naturally when we detox. There's specific kinds of foods that we can eat, like pineapple, that really help with that. So also a thing that I did, which would be the third way that we can unlock that, is to meditate just with our eyes closed, that there's more light emerging in our third eye. I sort of like visualize it as a light switch that like goes all the way on and to the fullest capacity. And then it's sort of the same with the sun gazing, but on an energy level. The more light we have there, the easier it will be for our physical eyes to also start perceiving that. Straining won't really help us, especially straining our eyes won't help us see auras, because we will see auras when we relax our eyes and we just receive. And it's sort of like unfocusing a little bit, but you're still focusing, like looking at something, but you're sort of like going into your peripheral vision a little bit more. And you start seeing from your peripheral vision the outline around it. Actually, that is a thing where our peripheral vision, rather than like the spot that we look at directly, our peripheral vision actually sees more and receives more light. That's actually a thing on a physical level. So we can really take advantage of that by not looking at it with our focal point, like the center, but focus without like shifting our eyes, focus on the periphery. So I'm going to do an exercise on how to see auras on my Patreon, so check that out if you're interested. It's in the Rosebud tier. And thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if it helped you. Share below if it resonated in some kind of way, if you start seeing auras as well. This is just an introduction. I might do more videos on this subject. But for now, thank you for watching and see you next time.